Tesla up $250 today at the equivalent of $2,500 a share is our brief talk today. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Thanks once again for joining us. If this is your first time, welcome. Repeat visitor, welcome back. Wanted to note that if you're not on our Patreon page, you're missing a lot of trading and investment advice that might be helpful in your money-making process. So today has turned out to be an amazing day, very different than what we all expected. Basically, as you can see, Tesla stock price is up over $480. And in order to go back to what the numbers are, so basically $500 times 5 is $2,500. And the high for the day was $497. So we're predicting that, in theory, it gets back above 490, possibly into the 495 today. So it's effectively at $250 or $2,500 a share. So we want to say congratulations to all of you that have been making money in this process. I thought we'd review a few points that sort of popped up that we were noting going by here. Number one is that according to our schedule of the 6 processes of a stock split, we're now at the point where we're at the split. Volume is extremely high and price is rolling on that volume. So we're at 62 million shares right now. Our run rate for the whole day is usually, I think, about 50 million shares. So as you can see, I think by the end of the day, number of shares traded probably ends up being double, something like 100 million traded for the day based on the pace at which we're going and the fact that the last couple hours of the day tend to be pretty strong. So I want to congratulate you, those of you that have made money. There's a gentleman named Squawk Square who is one of the tweeters that we follow a lot, and a lot of people have made money writing his advice. Today, he actually recommended, he shorted Tesla when it was at 466. And as you sort of go through the numbers, when Tesla was up $50 a share, that was that was sort of the general numbers. What I'm, I guess, well, number one, we're looking at the high volume. When you have high volume like that, you typically have a lot of price movement. The second thing I wanted to review is, again, obviously, we do have the impact of the split on the stock and the number of people that are buying in at a lower price. So our estimate was the buy-in numbers would be kind of low, and therefore we wouldn't have the kind of explosive movement of the stock price that we're currently enjoying. Obviously, that was not the case, and there's a lot of demand from new buyers that's forcing the price up. In my mind, I think everybody else's mind, the question mark is when will this bubble up end and we enter the other side where all of a sudden the stock price starts to fall based on the fact that you have a sort of a wipeout of the increased demand for the stock on the decline in price once we did the split. And the answer to that is, obviously, I don't think that's today. I do think that we have at least 1 or 2 more days of heavy volume in this fashion that will drive aggressiveness about a purchase, about purchasing shares at the diminished prices. I would say that it's also a good thing to be kind of prepared here because, man, $2,500 effectively a share is a big number. But, I've read probably 10 hours worth of stuff related to the impact of splits, and a large number of investors have talked about the fact that when a split occurs, it's really not material because it's basically more shares holding the same equity. So in theory, it's the same thing. As we reviewed, there are a large number of individuals who can't afford the higher $2,500 price, but they can afford the effectively $500 price of the stock, and it's showing in the purchases today. What we also reviewed is that there are actually institutions that are required in general to do round lots, meaning that when they buy shares, they have to buy 500, 100, 200, et cetera, those round numbers. And a $2,500 purchase, even for a smaller institution, is still a big number in terms of round lots. But a 500 number is actually a lot more reasonable. So I do believe that today we're a mix of individuals and large institutions that are buying the shares and pushing prices up. But, I'd have to say, hey, this is really exciting, and it's great to make a few dollars on Tesla's stock as well as its option in the process. What do we see in the future? We're supposed to get a diminished sort of demand for shares, in theory, over the next few days. Is that today? I don't think so. Possibly tomorrow or the day after, but this activity may happen for a few days before we drop the volume of demand. The other milestone I'm looking for is the 3-day rule, because the question right now is, what are the analysts thinking about the fact that they threw this $2,500 price target out there, and now it's achieved that number, and somewhere between 2,500 and 2,700 is about the collection of the third or so, or even half of the analysts that have been anticipating the upward move of the stock. So I'd say put your seatbelt on, get ready for more action, because I do believe we see a nice pushing up of the stock price. And I think it's pretty fun to be a part of it, and look forward to being able to enjoy as this occurs. I guess the only other note that I would make is that I really think if you do trade options as we get towards $2,500, given a 250-point move in one day, it would not be inappropriate to consider a few puts, at 490-ish as a way to protect some of the gains you've had and enable you to perhaps hang on to some calls and ride up in above the $500 a share zone if it wants to go there. Again, this is a congratulations. I really think that if you watch the volume of the stock, you'll find, what's going on here. Another notable point is I started watching the stock price here starting at 4 a.m. and was blown away by the volumes that we were seeing. Right by 4:15 in the morning, we had as much volume as we would have had by, let's say, 7 in the morning or 3 hours later. So sort of the volume tells seem to be there prior to open. And I'm thinking that, I guess, to understand where we are for the next few days, you might want to take a quick peek if you're up early in another continent or something. Take a look at the between 4 and 4:30. Take a look what's happening with volume there. If we're above 100,000 shares, I think it sort of feeds into a big day. If we're sub 100,000 and at 50, 40,000, it's a light day for activity. And obviously, this is not a light day. Also wanted to note that Apple has enjoyed a nice little run today, up the equivalent of $20 to, what would have been $5.20, which is a big move. Another split stock that's enjoying a strong day. And congrats to those of you who are there as well. I was there a little bit also. So again, volume strong. With that kind of volume, I see price staying up or being pushed higher. Will it end? Absolutely. But I think we have some time before it takes a dive on us. And I want to wish you the best of luck in process of making some money. Please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for joining us. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Tschüss, macht's gut, au revoir, lehitrot, khoda hafez, Farsi, assalamu alaikum, Muslim, Zdravstvuyte, hello in Russian, ni hao ma, hello in Chinese, hey do, Swedish, goodbye. And in Jamaica, we say, enough respect, walk good man. Thanks for joining us and have a great day. Bye for now.